Hello again. Today, this episode, I'm working on the oil pan. So you could see I went ahead and purchased the new oil pan. Then we're going to go ahead and get that put that on the engine. So there's a few things though. The old pan, a few things that had to sort of transfer over. Let me show you. Okay, so this is how the new pan came, right? Um, so Except there is one thing I did put in already. It didn't come with this, but I put it in, which is the oil level sensor. Okay, now I put that in already, and I got that brand new. I got that at AutoZone. They had it actually pretty good price, surprisingly, very competitive with everything online, even without a coupon. So these aftermarket pans, okay, most of them do not have the place um, for the oil level sensor. So, my vehicle had an oil level sensor. I like to have an oil level sensor in my oil pan. Just, you never know, when you blow a leak somewhere and suddenly, you don't know it, but suddenly the oil pressure and pressure drops and the level drops. I think that is a very good thing to have. The oil level sensor, which is kind of right in there. It's underneath this little thing right here. Okay. But a couple other things I wanted to draw your attention to. It came like this with this hole empty. You might remember in the old pan, but it had this pressure relief valve. Okay, plugged into here. Now this is the old one. Okay, and I cleaned it up, but I wasn't sure whether I wanted to use it. There's this like little rubber piece in here that you don't know whether or not it looks nice and clean from the outside, but nobody knows what the inside of it is. Is there anything in here that's dry rot, for example? Is the seals in here functional? So I actually was able to get a replacement one from the local Chevy dealership for like 14 bucks. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in here. But obviously, I'm also going to put in the deflector, okay, which you know um, helps keep which helps keep oil from spraying up into the cylinder walls. Now, to tell you the honest truth, I really don't even need this. Okay, what I probably should have done, quite frankly, because the only reason you had a pressure regulator that blows oil out if the pressure becomes too high in the oil system is because of the AFM, um, the active fuel management system, and the cylinder deletion thing that I am getting rid of. Okay, so with that being deleted, I've read on a bunch of forums that you could just stick a bolt in here and plug it. In fact, Summit even sells a bolt to plug this specifically for that purpose. I felt a little bit uncomfortable doing that. I thought about, maybe, yeah, just go ahead and, it's cheaper to just go ahead and plug that, a couple dollar bolt. Okay. But then I don't know. I just felt like, okay, maybe it might serve some purpose. I don't know, to have a oil pressure relief. I don't know. I just thought better be safe than sorry. Try to leave it as close to the way the oil pan came as it possible. And honestly, the actual replacement relief valve was only a few more dollars more than the actual plug bolt that they sell to plug that off and replace this. So I was like, okay, what difference does it make? Hell, I probably should have just put some glue on here and just sealed it off. I mean, I just needed something to plug that hole, right? Well, for about the same price, I could just replace this, okay, and just get a new one. So what the hell, might as well. So anyway, that's where we're at. And then finally, on the bottom of the pan, okay, this is exactly how it came. Obviously, minus this oil level sensor, which I already mentioned that I replaced. But this is how it came. And you'll see these three holes here are for that plate that goes on here. I'm sure you've noticed if you've worked on LS motors or familiar with them, that they all come with this plate. They all come with this. They all come with this plate that just kind of sits here, and I was like, okay, do I need that plate? What purpose does that plate even serve? You know, it didn't come with the plate, so should I just leave it off? You know, so I took the plate off the old one, the old oil pan, which I've got laying around here somewhere. Um, and I, used a brush and scraped it clean. There was actually a lot of rust on here, and it was nasty. And you could see the scrape marks. Nothing here. I didn't worry about finishing it so it's smooth or anything, because these bolt holes don't go all the way through. No, there's no like metal pieces that are going to mix with the oil. This is entirely on the outside. Okay, so why even have that? Well, the first thought was, well, either it helps structurally, but then that didn't make any sense. Why not just put another bolt here? Things just didn't seem to add up. Anyway, when I went to the Chevy dealership to get the replacement one of these, I said, hey, do you have these plates? And they would have had to order it, and I had no intentions of buying one, but I just wanted to see what the heck was it for. And it turns out what he told me was it's a noise dampener. So that's what he told me this plate does. It dampens the noise, that, I guess, crank noise. I'm not exactly sure, but what's on the other side of this pan? Well, you have the crank turning, not, so I suppose that's probably what it's for, I guess. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get started putting all these oil pan accessories on my oil pan, and then I'm going to go ahead and put the oil pan on the engine. Okay, so come along with me, and you can watch along as I get all this done. Okay, so while I have it upside down, maybe the first thing I'll go ahead and do is just go ahead and put this on. So clearly this only goes on. I guess it could go on either way, but I know from the looks of it, this side originally was. I guess it doesn't matter. So, and these are the original bolts. So I didn't even. Again, this is all external, so I'm not terribly worried about cleaning it up. I'm going to tighten this down, and I'll be right back. Okay, we got that tightened down. We're going to go ahead and flip it over. There's the underside of it. Now we're going to go ahead and put the pressure relief valve in, along with its diverter. All right, so it already comes with the thread locker on it, so or the sealer, the thread sealer. The way this works is it just simply drops down into here, into the diverter, and then you simply just tighten that down. All right, that's 17 millimeters. So we got our oil deflector, we've got our pressure relief valve, we've got our oil level sender, we've got our sound deadening plate on here. So I think we're about ready to put this on the engine. I think we're ready to put this on the engine. Let me go ahead and flip the engine over, and I'm going to read the book, and I'll be right back. Okay, so we're ready to put this oil pan on, but the first step before we do that is we have to put the gasket. On the pan, and then get a few screws and kind of start screws through there, and then after that, we have to put a few beads of RTV. Okay, here, And here, where the back cover meets the oil rails, right here, where the back cover meets, and then where the front cover meets, okay? Just for some added protection, okay? So I'm gonna set the camera in the stand and then set this up so you can kind of follow along. All right, so first we're gonna put the gasket on the pan, and like so many other things, I bought a bag of new bolts for this for the oil pan. In hindsight, I probably should have and could have, saved a few bucks and just used the existing ones. Now there is like almost like a gasket, obviously, around where the bolts go through. So that's what's holding the bolts in place, is the actual gasket. I'm gonna grab a socket to help speed this up a little bit. If I can find my 10mm socket. Where are you at? Here you are. All right, next we're going to put some RTV on these connecting points. All right, here we go with the pan. All right, that went on pretty smoothly, actually. That was a smooth installation. All right, so the book says to just leave it loosely, and then it says let's see here. A properly installed pan will sit flush on the engine block. If it does not, try again. Lift up, check and see what's blocking it. If you are confident the pan has seated correctly, tighten the bolts only snug and use a straight edge to measure the pan's location with respect to the rear of the engine block. Because oil pan forms a structural part of the drive line, even some of the bowel housing bolts attached to it This dimension is critical. The pan cannot protrude beyond the back of the engine block and may only be set forward 10 thousandths of an inch on most engines. On some engines, a maximum of just 4 thousandths of an inch is considered acceptable. After making any necessary adjustments to get the pan location correct, tighten all the short oil pan bolts to 18 foot-pounds and the two long pan to rear cover bolts to 106 inch-pounds. All right, so we'll go ahead and put the long ones in here now. All right, now we need a straight edge. Check over here. And let's see, I need to get some light. Okay, so I'm going to lightly tap this forward. All right, so actually it needs to come back a little bit. All right, we're going to go ahead and tighten this up. One last check. All right, so most of the bolts get torqued to 18. These two get torqued to 8.8 or 106 inch-pounds. there you have it. All right, there you have it. The oil pan is now on. All right, so I think I'll just dedicate this whole video just to oil pan. Next video, when we come back, we are going to move on to the, let's see. Oh, while I was waiting for some parts to arrive, I kind of skipped ahead in the book, because here's the book right here. And after the oil pan installation, it talks about install the camshaft position sensor, which the front cover already came with that. Install valve lifters and guide trays. So I went ahead and did that already. That was super easy, putting in the lifters. So I went ahead and did that. Next, we move on to putting the cylinder heads on. Putting the heads on. Can you believe it? We are so darn close. I mean, look at this thing. I mean, we have come such a long way. I remember, it seems like it was just yesterday we were tearing the thing down, but now we've got a nice engine here that's looking pretty good. Oh, by the way, also another thing that's later in the book that I jumped ahead while I was waiting for parts to arrive. I installed the knock sensors. So here's one right here, one knock sensor, and then here's a second one right here. You can see, let's see if I can get down in there. Yeah, there's the second one right there. So those are really easy to put on. I mean, so I don't think we need to do a video just for that. Just one bolt and 18 pounds, and that's it. So anyway, we'll be back next time to install the heads. Be sure to join me. Thanks.